Right, tonight we're going to be doing Chinese food, and what I've got here is I've got a large chicken, which I've decided to use a chicken like this rather than pieces, because I'm going to use the breast meat to cook the main meal, and I'm going to use the legs, the thighs and the wings for what I'm going to prepare for the starter. So I'm going to now cut up this chicken. I'm going to boil up the bones, because the bones I need for I need chicken stock in my second dish. So I'm going to use the bones to create the stock. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to show you how to chop up a chicken so that we can get all the parts off it that we really need. So first of all, we've got to take off this thread that we use to tie everything together. So I'm just going to free everything up by taking that off. Okay, so that's that off. So everything's now free. Now there are parts on here, I've got this water boiling as well. There are parts on here like this where the neck was, that, you know, it's just all complete fat, we don't need it, so I'm just going to trim that up. And then on the other side we've got the parson's nose, we don't need that either, so I'm just going to chop that off. And then if you look in here, we've got a lot of spare fat here as well, which we just don't need, so I'm just going to, you need a sharp knife for this, but I'm just going to chop that all off as well. Just so, because we don't need all that. So that's it, that's basically a little bit better now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the wings off. Now just take the wings up like this. Now what you do is you sever the wing down there, and you can see the joint opens up there. And all I'm going to do is just cut around that joint and the wing comes off. Same thing on the other side, just cut around there. You'll see the ball joint there, just opens up, just cut round it and the wing comes off. Next job, the legs, a little bit more tricky, but cut down between the leg, you can see where it's opening up here, cut down, and then what happens is when you get down the bottom here, you can cut down, there's a piece of flesh there, you can cut down, and then you just pull the leg apart, and you can see it separates the joint. You just cut between the joint, and then all you do is just gradually cut along there until it's off. Same on the other side, cut down between the leg, down here, round the bottom there, pull the leg apart, you can see the joint there, and again all we do now is just gradually ease the knife between the bone and the meat until we've got the leg off. I'm going to take all this skin off now, so I'm going to take the skin from the back there, I'm just going to slice along here and take all that skin off, because I don't want that to be in with the water when I boil it. And then I'm just going to take this skin here to there. I'm not going to need this skin, so I'm now just stripping the skin off, putting it back to the middle there. Same on the other side, just get your fingers underneath the skin there, and then just ease the knife down, and then just again pull the skin up, off and away, until what you end up with is the skin just joined at the middle. And then all you've got to do is just run your knife down the middle and take all the that's it. And in the end you come down to this bottom bit and you just Right, so there we are. We've got the carcass now with the 2 chicken breasts on there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to run my knife along the bottom of the carcass here and just start to ease away the meat. Now it doesn't matter if you leave some meat on the bone, because if we're going to boil it up, and we want some meat on there, otherwise it's going to be pretty tasteless. But you just try and get as much of the meat, and I'm going to just cut around this top bit. Just make sure that you get as much of the meat as you can, and then you just ease it up until, there you go. So now what we've got is we've got the breast right up now, and all I've got to do is run my knife along there, and that's one of the breasts. Pop that up there. Exactly the same thing on the other side. So we start off running our knife along the carcass there, and then along the cage there, and you can see the bone that runs along there. What you're doing is you're just running your knife around the bone, along the rib cage, just separating it from the bone. And then same thing here, we're just separating it from the wishing bone, which is at the top end there. Just pull as much of the meat away that you can until you've got and that's the other breast there. So now I've just got the carcass left. Now what I'm going to do to get it in that pan, I'm going to have to chop this carcass up. So I'm going to just slide my knife down these fleshy bits, which will help me to just cut the thing in half. So that's half of it, and I can separate these bones here. Just pull these bones apart a little bit here, just so as I can get it all into the pot easily. Easier said than done, but it doesn't really matter because all I'm trying to do is separate everything off. There we go. So I've just split that carcass up into a lot of little bits there. And then I've already got my water simmering, so all I've got to do now is drop these bones in. Noticed the clean cooker here tonight. A bit of a mess last night, so decided that cleaning it up was order of the day. So that is one. Oh, actually, before we finish, there's some more things Now, because I'm going to be grilling these. I want to actually cut these into other pieces. I'm going to leave them on the bone. But what I do is, if you look at the way the leg joins the thigh here, I'm going to cut down between it. And if you get it right, it's quite soft. Then you can just run the knife all the way down. So that separates that into two bits. Here's the other one, exactly the same. Just run the knife down and you'll see there's a bit of a soft bit in between where you can just carry the knife through. So that's that chopped into another two bits. And then the wings, what I do is the last bit of this wing's not good, so I chop that off. And then leave that last bit and that bit, and what you do is you just run the knife down again, same idea, and you can just run it down and it just chops it in bits. So same thing again, chop that in bit off and then just run the knife down. Easy. So that's it, we've got a whole plate of chicken there, two breasts, all the thighs and legs, wings, all there, all of that. Our stock, which is bubbling away there, and just a little bit of rubbish to chuck away. So really good way of making really good way of making the most of an entire chicken.